Yeah, I don't believe in destiny, I just do what's best for me. Don't listen to my enemies, they're just full of jealousy. Yeah, this legacy, you gon' see what's left of me. You gon' see success in me.
It's time for the WFL Season Podcast, your weekly league podcast where we break down and react to everything WFL and Madden. Now, on to the show with your hosts, Juke and Kold.
What is going on, WFL Nation? Live with your boy Juke. Got Too Cold. Got Black Hawk in the building. We're going to start this pilot episode of WFL season right here in season 5. We just entered week 5, and welcome aboard, boys. How we doing tonight?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. Glad to be here.
Sounds good. Looking forward to the show.
Yeah, absolutely. It's gonna be a good one. Got a lot of content planned for tonight. Got a couple of interviews. So without further ado, we're actually gonna get right into the draft recap. Like I said, we are in week 5, but starting this podcast so late, we need to kind of rewind a little bit and kind of look at a recap of round 1, and then also look at the grades for each team. So we won't spend too much time on this because we need to get on with our other segments, but just kind of starting here, and looks like we're having difficulties. This is awesome. All right. There we go. Okay. All right, so let's get rid of that. Okay. So looking at the first round, guys, Colts had top pick. They took Evan Carroll. He was actually the highest overall in the entire draft as far as your standard overall goes. Tennessee took Justin Callaway, highly touted quarterback, probably the top quarterback in the class. I know he won a few awards that we saw in the news. Computer New England took Ben Stark. San Francisco, your old team, Kold, Rimster's current team, took Zach Zimmerman, a left outside linebacker. Keon Nickerson went right after him to La Migra's Las Vegas Raiders. Kerry Blackwell went to the Computer Vikings, followed by Brady Tanner, left tackle, to Pittsburgh, and Chill Key. And then Rimster had a second. He had the 9th pick in the draft as well. I think that was the pick that he got from you, Kold?
Yes, exactly. Whenever we did the trade for McCaffrey.
Yeah. So he took a right end. So he really kind of stiffened up that defense a little bit more. Troy Beckman with the 9th overall pick. Quincy Tate went to Cooley G's Cowboys, right outside linebacker there. So primarily a dominant top 10 picks all on the defensive side of the ball. Only 1, 2, 3, 4 of the top 10 went offense, so that leaves 6, if my math is correct, for the top 10 in defense. Looking down, some other highlights there. JT Ankrum, free safety, went to Arizona, which is a computer team. He's also an 80 overall, second highest overall player in the draft. Did you guys, as you kind of like reviewed, in week 1, and did anybody stand out to you guys? And if so, who was it? And how do you think they could help that team?
Well, when it comes to rookies in week 1, I mean, this is obviously biased, but the Bills, I got Eric Reed, the cornerback, which he's actually playing strong safety. But week 1, he came out. He had a interception. He led the team in tackles as a rookie. So definitely looking forward to him. I think he's gonna be a beast. Eric Reed, number 35.
Okay.
Yeah, I
I'm looking
I
at the
didn't
pick.
pay a lot of attention to the first round since I didn't have a pick until the third round. But just going by what I know in my division and what you took at the number 1 spot there, I'm definitely going to be keeping an eye on that cornerback when I drop back to pass when we play. So.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, Evan Carroll was everything that I thought he would be. I took a huge chance, traded 2 first-round picks, came up to number 1 to select him, and he just happened to be the number 1 rated player in the draft. He's already making splashes. Last week against New York, he had a pick 6. He would have had a fumble recovery for a touchdown as well, but
Nice.
It got called back on a challenge. So, anyway.
Knowing how well you play defense, especially in the secondary, not looking forward to having to face him in Madden as well.
He was brought into Cold. I don't think your player's Eric Reed. I think it's Sidney Carroll who you're talking about.
Yeah, I edited
Did you
him
change
and
his
changed
name?
Eric Reed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, my
cool.
bad. I should have. Yeah, Sidney Carroll.
Yeah. Okay. My apologies. I was like, I don't even see. First of all, you took him in the second round because you didn't have a first round pick.
Yeah, I didn't have a first round pick with Buffalo.
Okay. Yeah. So he went in the second round. Okay. So looking at grades, let's just we'll go top 5 here for time's sake. Colts 77, Jets 74.67, Vikings 74.33, and Seahawks and Raiders, and then essentially a 4-way tie for 5th. Seahawks, Raiders, Dolphins, Broncos, all 74s, and then the Titans after that. So great. I thought it was a pretty good draft. Obviously I'm biased as well. I had 3 hiddens, come off the board right away because I had 2 second-round picks as well. One being a left tackle, one being a free safety. And then Evan Carroll kind of made the night. So just a quick draft recap there. You guys got anything to add before we move on to league leaders and week 4 talking with Hawk here?
Nope.
I know, just like you pointed out, it was pretty surprising that so many defensive studs went top overall. But I mean, the way they're playing, it definitely looks like it was worth it. So I'm excited to see how these guys develop if they are carried over into 24.
Absolutely, yeah. Speaking of which, we'll drop a little note there on that. Kold is referencing the fact that you can pick either a player from this past draft, the one we just went over, to carry over into Madden 24, or you can pick a player from this upcoming draft. So I'm looking forward to seeing this last draft as we finish this Madden cycle out and hopefully on to bigger and better things with 24. Who really knows? I don't even want to go there. But we'll dive into league leaders now. Nice segue here. And then I'll dish off to Hawk to talk about week 4 and his players of the week. We're not gonna choose player of the week from Neon Sports, but we do want to take a look at league leaders. Right now, currently, Joe Burrow is leading the league in passing. We will talk to Coach RustaBusta a little bit later in this show. Ben Pierman, who's a rookie, he's a rookie with the Computer Vikings, in second place there, and Cameron Ward. See, I'm not familiar with him. Will Levis.
I actually drafted him last year when I was.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Of course. Yeah. So he's getting the nod there over. Davis Mills is still
Out
there.
of Washington State.
Yeah. Washington. Oh, yeah. Okay, so he's in his sophomore season then. No sophomore slump for him so far then. And Will Levis traded to Dallas this past offseason. 9 touchdowns, 9 picks for him. So while he's top 5 in yards, not really having the best time. But your boy Cameron Ward is at 13 and 2.
Kind of playing like Dak Prescott with a lot of touchdowns with a lot of interceptions. So he may have got his boy at quarterback, but still playing like it's Dak Prescott under center there in Dallas.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we have Josh Allen in 5th, Kold. So really slinging it. You are in the same boat though. 8 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Quality control there. Coming in the in weeks 5 through 18 now. Yeah, there we go. So rushing leaders, Alvin Kamara, New Orleans with Hatchie. Hatchie was the former Baltimore Ravens owner. Came back to us, now is New Orleans. I think he's really doing well there. And then Najee Harris, Pittsburgh, Chilkey, running the ball. Elijah Mitchell, Rimsters pounding the rock there in San Francisco. Now that he's Sans Christian McCaffrey. David Montgomery kind of picking up where he left off last year in Chicago there with Smash. And then Breece Hall, your season 4, I believe he was the season 4 rushing champion there, bringing up the rear. All players have played 4 games. The variance is from 307 to 566 and average 4.72 all the way up to 7.75. Touchdowns are Kamara has 5, Harris has 3, Mitchell has 4, Montgomery has 2, and Breece Hall has 1. Hawk, you're kind of a ground and pound guy. I'm really shocked actually not to see Dameon Pierce up there.
Yeah, well, I had to go with a sim on my last game. He only had 77 yards. He's been doing pretty well, but I've also got my team rushing is probably up there in the top 5 because I've been splitting carries pretty good between him and Antonio Gibson because when you've got 2 guys, I mean, yeah, Pierce is 90 overall now, but Gibson's a good change of pace from Pierce. So they're not necessarily equal in carries, but they're not far off. So I'd say as far as team yards go, I'm probably right up there, but I don't have the one guy that's the bell cow right now. So.
All right, with that, we'll get into receiving leaders. Tyreek Hill, I apologize, Neon obviously isn't updated in the stat department yet. He is now a Pittsburgh Steeler, but he leads the league. And these stats might be skewed. I think we had a discrepancy with the glitch.
The stats are right.
The stats are right. Okay, good. Got it. Yeah, that's right. You said that pre-show. And then scary Terry McLaurin with Washington. He's coming in second at 493 yards, has 6 touchdowns, leads this list as far as the top 5 go. Jamar Chase with the Cincinnati Bengals. Joe Burrow's really slinging it around. He's got 2 receivers in the top 5. We won't skip over CeeDee Lamb, but I do want to bring note that Cincinnati has 2 receivers with over 400 yards in the 5th week. Again, we're going to talk to Rusta a little bit later and kind of pick his brain about the offensive prowess that he is. And he's got a lot of people kind of trembling in this league. I got a taste of it in week 3, and it wasn't a nice one. So CeeDee Lamb pulling his own there in Dallas with Will Levis. Looks like they're linking up quite a bit. 429 yards there, 16 and a half on average of reception, and then second on the list with 5 touchdowns. All right, Hawk, I'm gonna segue into you, my friend. Players of the week. You call them out. I'll go find them, and we'll look at their stats and stuff.
Absolutely. So obviously, we saw Tyreek Hill and the stats he put up, and he would have a monster game as he was playing his last game in Miami. 10 catches, 292 yards, and a touchdown, but in a losing effort for the Dolphins. So that's why I went digging deeper to find another player of the week, trying to find a player on a winning team for the week. And so Tyreek Hill had a monster game for Ross, but C.J. Stroud for the Lions is where I'm going for the offensive player of the week. Monster game as well. He had over 400 yards passing, 5 touchdowns, no interceptions. It was just destroyed Green Bay through the air. It ended up being a 14-point game, and also that game was insane. Over 900 yards of total offense between the two teams, 74 or 76 total points scored, 44 first downs in that game, and only 1 turnover. So,
wow, call it a Big Sky game. Nothing, no defense and all offense out there.
So C.J. Stroud gets the nod there on the player of the week for Polio, who's looking strong with the Lions this year.
So amazing game by Stroud. When you said that, 415 yards for the rookie, 5 passing touchdowns and no picks.
Second year, actually.
Yeah, he's second year pro. C.J. Stroud in his sophomore season doing really well with the Lions. and it shows here as we look at his key attributes. They speak for themselves. He's got a lot to give this Lions team, who moved on from Jared Goff 2 years ago. Okay.
The defensive player of the week was a little bit hard. Great. You guys still hear me?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Sure can.
Okay. So, yeah, the defensive player of the week was a little bit harder to choose, but I went with Eric Armstead for the Niners. He didn't have a sack, but he had 5 tackles for loss. And I mean, some guys don't get an entire season 5 tackles for loss, but he racked that up in the game that they had against the Dolphins, and in a game that you only win by 4 points, which was 34-38. Him living in the backfield like that was a big reason, part of the reason why they won. So he gets the defensive player of the week with Rimster out there with the Niners.
Doesn't look like our stats were picked up there for that game.
Yeah, well, you don't get tackle for loss on Neon, so that I grabbed that actually from Madden directly. So.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay. See.
Nice.
All right, nice, beautiful. So
I just want to go through a few other things from week 4 that stood out as I was looking through all this. We actually had 4 games that were decided by less than a touchdown, 6 points or less. Dolphins versus Niners that we've already talked about, 34-38. Niners pulled out over the Dolphins. And we had the Commanders versus the Jags. Johnny holding tight with Glenn and the Jags there, but he ended up losing by 3, 31-34. Had a rematch of the Super Bowl, the Bucs versus the Browns, and that one ended up being 20-17, with the Bucs surprisingly just getting their first win on the season there. And then Falcons Broncos in a defensive match, 16-10. So I thought that was interesting. You see a lot of big numbers going up across the board, but there's also some games like the Bucs and Browns and Falcons and Broncos where guys are playing good defense too. So just a really good week of entertaining games being played with a lot of good competition so far.
Awesome. Yeah, a little bit of insight. Was able to talk to both Chesky, Jaguars coach, and Commanders. Chesky, after his game, sent me a mind-blown emoji. Really, giving hats off to Johnny P1, who just got his PS5, just joined the league, and is getting accustomed to Nintendo Switch. To have a game like that and to lose by a field goal on the final play of the game speaks volumes for Johnny. Keep that up. Chesky's no easy
And he's
out.
doing it with Sam Howell at quarterback.
Oh yeah,
I think it's 68 overall.
Wow. Yeah. We had the drama there in the offseason where he traded for Dak Prescott and then released him. So he does have Howell there. He just traded Brissett to the Colts as well. So he's rolling with the unproven commodity there in Sam Howell. And
for those of you that don't know Johnny, he's a no risk it, no biscuit kind of player. He will throw the ball down the field and he will challenge your defense every single play. And he's not afraid to throw a pick, because he thinks it's worth it to get that big play for the touchdown. And he will challenge some guys deep and come out with some games like this, especially with Scary Terry out there. I look forward to seeing what he can do. So obviously we've been playing with him for a long time. He's new to the league, but just a little insight for the guys that are out there.
Yeah, awesome to see him do that well. And definitely, like you said, Hawk, if there's anybody that's fearless, it's definitely Johnny.
Well, we've seen him do this with quarterbacks in the past too, in the 60s, where he just takes them and he actually plays better than he has with highly rated quarterbacks. So I think he did it with
Josh Rosen.
Yeah, he did it with Josh Rosen. Didn't he get an MVP season, I think, with Josh Rosen?
He did. Yep, absolutely. Okay, so I want to draw a feature that's been added to Neon Sports. You see these little stars under the games. Obviously, when I go to it, there's a circle with a slash through it because I can't click it. But if we go to week 5 and we look here, we can actually vote. I believe you can actually vote on, or maybe it's week 6 because we're in week 5. Yeah, you can actually vote on the player of the game, or the game of the week for upcoming weeks. So I'm actually going to mention this to Winnibus and maybe the AP. The AP team can actually maybe vote on the game of the weeks. You can, and whatever gets the most stars when we advance that week, it shows up on the home screen. And then you can also, as users, you can come in here and hit these like buttons on either side and make your picks for who you think is going to win the game. So a little bit more immersion on the Neon Sports side, guys. And I think that's a great feature for the league, especially to drive, like I just said, immersion. Okay. Is that all you have for week 4, Hawk?
Yeah, that's what I had.
Okay. All right. Next up, a guy that was the number 1 seed in the NFC a season ago. Let's go back to the homepage and pull up his team profile so we can see exactly how he's doing. He's off to a hot start here, undefeated again to start this season. He was undefeated for a lot of last season. Smash, are you with us, brother? Welcome, my friend. I don't think we heard you say hi there, but I did see your little name flash. How we doing? How are we feeling about the season thus far? How are these Bears doing? And as we talk to you, I'm gonna switch over to your graphic here. Go ahead and take it away.
Not too excited about my team. I mean, I wasn't too excited about my team last year, especially with the crash with EA. Thank you, EA. I had a plan, massive rebuild, but I guess I had a magic act going 15-2 with a team like I had. But I guess it was mostly scheme. I didn't get away from my scheme, and I went back. Just what's today? Is it midnight? Well, yesterday I went back and looked at the game I had against Cincinnati, which I came back on, and just trying to get a fit for my offense, because I'm trying to shout out to Waffles for using a standard playbook. So I'm trying to do that this year. So I was just going back checking over things, and you were talking about rust. You got to bring your offense when you play rust. But with my team, I'm not really feeling it. 4-0. I got 2 computer wins, and I beat the Packers, and I don't know who was the other team I beat. I'm like I said, I'm at work, so I can't look it up. But I think I had another human opponent. But 2 CPU wins against the Vikings, and 2 I think human opponents.
Yeah. So you beat Tennessee in week 2. Newcomer Jeremiah, close personal friend of mine, trying to gather the rope. So I do see where you're coming from. I do want to go over your offensive and defensive rankings real quick, and then I'll open it up for the guys to ask you some questions here. Offense, you're currently 3rd in points at 38 per game. Yards, you have 1,501 total, which is good for 9th. Passing yards, you are 31st in the league. So that's the only of all these statistics and categories. This is where you are the lowest at 807 yards, but in a pass-heavy league, I mean, that's still quite a bit, I think, through 4 games, especially, with how you run your offense. And then you are currently 2nd in the league in rushing at 694 yards. And then defense, you have the number 1 scoring defense. You're only allowing 12 points a game. 1,087 yards, which is good for 4th. Passing yards, you've only allowed 891, which is good for 11th. And you have the number 1 rushing defense at only 196 yards allowed. So, I like you said, you're not impressed with your team yet. You got a lot. You think you got a lot to prove, but. Sorry, my daughter's just came in here. I love you, baby. Good night.
I can jump in here. I think he'll know what he's made of coming up, because week 7 through week 12, he's got an insane schedule. I think that'll really show what this Bears team has this year, because he goes Jags, Bucks, Lions, Texans, Colts, Giants.
Yep, has the computer Rams and then a bye week. Computer Rams this week, bye week next week, and then that juggernaut of a schedule as you were talking about, Hawk. Kold, do you have any questions for the man?
Yeah, I mean, he downplayed his CPU wins, but I mean, with what's coming up, I mean, how do you feel? Are you confident? You have a pretty stacked schedule coming up.
Looked ahead of that schedule. I played the Jags when he was Philadelphia. I mean, you got to bring your offense with him. I think he likes to pass a lot. So, I mean, I watched that game. Great comeback, by the way. Nice hit for that slant crossing the field. That was a good win by Pickles. What's his name? Toxic Pickles? Yeah, that was a good win. A good comeback win, because I thought that was a loss. But, yeah, I got my hands full with that one then. I think I got Houston. And that's a tough game. I think we got a similar style. He likes to run. I like to run. We played once. And I think he's just getting a feel for a team. So that should be a good one. But like I said, those this week's coming up. I see what the team made of. Like I said, I'm not, I'm just trying to get through the season and a little smack talk. Hey, as long as I beat the Lions and Packers, I'm good. So.
I feel you there.
All right, yeah.
The good thing about starting off with a schedule like that you had is that you get your morale built up on your team, and I think that plays a key role going forward. You'll have your guys, amped up and high morale, which seems to be a big deal. And you think what would you say, for that 5-week stretch, playing guys that are all playoff contenders, probably Super Bowl contenders for that 5-week stretch? What's your prediction for your one-loss record in that five-game stretch there?
I'm hoping to go 500. I mean, my team, I like to be balanced. I don't like to go to one player, which I did last year with Mooney. And when he went down, it was a totally different team. But that's why in the offseason, I brought in, what's the former Cowboy, Steve, can't think of his name. I think he played for the Jags. And I also brought in Robbie Anderson, to be my slot. And I got I got like 200 points to use for training. My only regret with training was giving my second year guy, Jack Campbell, 6'5" linebacker. I gave him a lot of training, and it just don't pan out with Madden and the animation. But I wanted him to be my second nickel, and 6'5" just doesn't look right. And I think it's just the animation. But, I hope to go 500. So that's my thing. And if I can just stick to my game plan and I scheme, I think I can go 500.
Yeah, if you can go 500 through those 5 games, you should be able to finish out well, because you've got after that horrible streak of 5 weeks, you've got a couple of more CPU games, but then you've got the Lions, the Dolphins, and the Niners at the end too. So I think you have a strong chance to win that division and make the playoffs. Lions are definitely pushing hard though. So. What's your prediction? You think you're going to edge out the Lions for the division, or?
I mean, he's the same team. I think he only had 1 draft pick, so I think he's just loading up for the Bears anyway to take over the North. I mean, look at his team, look at my team. I'm just saying. I don't mean. So, I mean, look at the team last year. From what I did, I surprised myself. Like I said, I go in the game, I just try to do what I do, and because like I said. And much respect to the Bengals, that's why I went back and looked at that game. I was like, man, how did I beat him? I came back and beat him. And what I did was I just played my game. I took the point, no matter if it was 3 or the touchdown. Take your points. When you're playing high-powered offenses, you got to take the point. And you got to
stay calm, and you played smart. That was really good under that pressure, because that was a good game.
I
got one more question for you. Yeah. You say you like to talk smack, and that's part of the fun you have. So with you and the Lions both being 4-0, and battling out for this division, give us a little smack for the Lions there before we let you go here.
I think I did. I mean, look what he did. He gave all the way his draft pick, and he loaded that team up. He loaded up the team to beat me, because he didn't beat me. We had a sim, and I think did we play in the playoffs? I think I knocked him off in the playoffs. I mean, he has a stacked team. I'm just saying. Oh, by the way,
he went out in the first round, if I remember right. Well, no, it would have been the second round because you got the bye.
Yeah, and I think that's what I beat him. But I also want to state that my rookie, last year pass rusher versus his. Who was the guy from Alabama that he picked?
Will Anderson Jr.
Yeah, look at Nick Hampton, 12.5 sacks, and he was only a DPR, designated pass rusher. That was my biggest thing with him, because everybody was in the chat, oh, he got but the guy surprised me. Hey, I'm shocked myself. But I like to have a little friendly rivalry with him, man. It's all good, though. It's all good, fun. And I like to, just have somebody that's good in your division that plays right. And I think I got 2 guys, and that's the thing. You can, whether win, lose, and draw, you have fun. That's my whole thing about it. I don't care about if I win a Super Bowl. I've been close and never made it to a Super Bowl. Championship games, playoffs. But my whole thing, and shout out to Cooley and TFL. I've been playing with those guys over there, and I think we're becoming like them. If you can have some good guys that play right, it doesn't matter if you win, lose, or draw. I mean, I have fun, and this league is starting to get that way. It's still early, and I think he's getting guys in that you can, it really doesn't matter if you win. It matters if you win, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, man. Well, that's why we say, right? It's not about the W or the L. It's about the WFL.
Exactly. Right. Yeah. Smash 100-yard dash. We appreciate you, brother, and thanks for dropping in. And we look forward to seeing how you do in the rest of the season. Good luck the rest of the way.
Yeah, it's gonna get ugly. I think so. Like I said, I'm trying to play with a regular playbook and the Browns playbook. Because I saw waffles, and so I'm trying that these next couple of games. We'll see how that works out.
All right, we'll take care, my friend.
Later. All right.
I'll see you week 10, man. Thanks for jumping in.
All right. Finish up there with Smash. We're going to go back to the home screen here and kind of look at the playoff race. We're a little bit less than a quarter of the way through the season, guys, but it's never too early to start talking playoffs. On the AFC. On the AFC.
Playoffs?
Well, that's a quote from my team in real life right now. AFC playoff race, you got the number 1 seed, top of our division, Hawk, 4-0 Jacksonville Jaguars. I think that he said it about me, but Chesky literally said to both of us, "I'm coming to this division to make sure that you don't make the playoffs." He said that to me, which we're just gonna move on, man. Second seed.
He's backing up his talk so far, so we got to put it out on the field and let him know that we're not going to let the newcomer come in and just take over like that. So.
Yep. Yeah. Well, I will say our first game got disconnected, and it was a whole lot closer than our second game. So, not gonna make any excuses, but we'll just say the Malik Willis experiment is over in Indy. Moving on, second seed, Buffalo Bills. Kold, you're 3-1, man. You're currently holding on to the second seed. Big turnaround coming out for you in this second season with this team. Sounds like you've beat me, you've beat Hawk. Who else did you beat? Let's talk Buffalo Bills for a minute.
He beat me and you, and he beat a CPU team, I believe.
Exactly that, yeah, and that was amazing. I'll be honest, like I'm on a cloud right now. I'm not gonna, but I had those 2 games, and those were actually super close with you two. It was back-to-back nights, and then I immediately went and lost to a shitty CPU team. So I'm not gloating at all, but it is awesome. Josh Allen is having a good season, like you said earlier. 8 touchdowns, 8 picks. It's not perfect, but it's night and day from what I was doing with Trey Lance last year, which was horrible. I think he had like 3 touchdowns and 12 picks. Speaking of that, Remster is doing amazing with him. Right now, I think he's like over 10 touchdowns and only 1 pick. He's in top 5 in the league, so good job over there. He's really turned that team around. But, yeah, I'm just going to keep trying to ride this wave, play smart, and be grateful for every win. It's amazing right now being number 2 in the AFC, but it's way too early to get excited.
I want to kind of put a damper on this whole the computer. The computer is not or is weak, or you think you suck because you beat the computer. Let me tell you something. We got these sliders figured out to where the computer. I've said this to Winovus. I'll say this to everybody that listens to this podcast. I've said it to the leadership group. If we have 24 solid users and 10 computer users, or 8 computer users or whatever, you know what I mean? You know what I mean?
That's what I'm here. I'm here to help you with your math.
Exactly. Thank you. I never was good at it. But what I'm saying is that if we have solid users, like Smash was just talking about, and the computer is competitive and bites us every once in a while. I just gave up 20 points to the Jets. Granted, they have Jalen Hurts now, but it was a competitive game, and I honestly enjoy it. A lot of people frown about playing the computer, but not me. I think it's a great way to tune your team, and also if we can make these sliders challenge you, then they should, and you shouldn't take the computer lightly. They can bite you, and they will. Stud found that out last year.
Yeah, if you let them get momentum, it's over. That's the key thing with playing the CPU games, is not letting them get momentum, keeping them with short passes, keeping everything underneath, and not letting them get that momentum. If you let the CPU get momentum, it'll be like Tom Brady, Joe Montana, love child playing quarterback. No matter who it is, and yeah, it can get away from you. But
100% correct. Like when I was playing Baltimore, it was the total opposite for my first 3 games. When Allen was having perfect games, and so was McCaffrey. But in the game against Ravens, when I let them get ahead, all of a sudden they also shut down my running game. I had first time less than I think 60 yards total between 4 different rushers, and that just the momentum kept going negative. And once you let them get ahead, yeah, they're no joke, man. The CPU is nothing to take lightly.
Yeah. So just, I mean, like I said, they can buy you. It's also, if you know what you're doing and you know how to handle them, it's a great way to get your team. And also, we all have lives, and it's hard to schedule sometimes. It's hard to line up schedules. We've had a couple of no-shows. We've had a couple of fair sims because people can't line up. When you get that computer game, you don't have to worry about any of that. So that's very nice to just go in, log in, start your stream, and play your game. And that's why I look forward to those computer games. Hawk knows that I'm a glass half full guy. So I'll sit here and fart sunshine and rainbows all day long into this microphone.
No, I agree. It's definitely you look forward to them because you don't have to schedule. There's no difficulty, but that could technically be a hindrance because you might take it for granted and not be on your P's and Q's because you're not playing a live person. So definitely, I look forward to them, but you got to treat it just like it's going against Hawk or Juke.
I bet you will. I bet you will now. I bet you won't take it for granted anymore. I bet you won't. Mm-mm.
Oh hell yeah.
Okay, so we need to get this train rolling. Cincinnati's in the 3rd seed, currently 3-1. Las Vegas is in the 4th seed, 3-1. Houston and Pittsburgh and Kansas City are rounding out the wild card with Cleveland, Baltimore, and Denver on the bubble. And then on the NFC side, San Francisco is up top. We talked about what Rimster's doing there. He's always solid with his quarterback play. Very few mistakes. Gotta bring your A game. Polio in Detroit, 4-0 as well. Got 3 undefeated teams. This next team I kind of do want to spend a little bit on. Atlanta, complete turnaround for Stud. He's struggled out the gate this entire file, both files, if you will. The one that got deleted, this one. He's finally starting to find some success. He texted me tonight, said 4-0, boys. Let's go. I said, get it done, son. 4-0. Dallas, 3-1 in the 4th seed there. New Orleans, looking strong out the gate. Hatchie coming out strong, running the ball with Kamara, 4-0. We just talked to Smash. He's 4-0. And then rounding out the wild card slots is Cly at 2-2. Seattle, Washington, and Green Bay are on the bubble. Not going to spend too much time on the playoff races, guys. It's way too early. I mean, like I said, it's never too early to talk about playoffs. But at the same time, you're going to see a lot of teams turn around. You might see a lot of teams collapse as well.
Instead of playoffs, let's talk about surprises because we're 4 weeks in, and let's talk about surprises because I'm going to be honest. I'm surprised that you're 1-3. I know the Malik Willis experiment, is the reason for that primarily, but I still would never expect to see you 1-3 starting the first 4 games of a season. And then you also got the Bucs, the defending Super Bowl champions, in a bit of a slump, who started out 0-3, and they're now 1-3 as well. So on the negative side of things, that's a surprise because I mean, realistically, that could be a Super Bowl prediction. Coming into the season would have been Colts versus Bucs, and nobody would have scoffed at that. But you guys are both sitting at 1-3. I fully expect both of you to get that turned around. And then on the other side of things, Stud. Although for those of us that know him, it's not necessarily a surprise. It's just good to see him playing his game again and finding himself again and being 4-0. I think it may be a surprise to the rest of the league, but La Migra at 3-1, that's kind of a surprise. The Saints at 4-0, kind of an unknown. I mean, I know a lot of guys know him from before, but I don't. So watching him jump out to 4-0, with some pretty impressive wins as well. And obviously, Bengals are still up there and everybody else, but that's my surprises right now.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of want to circle back around to this and during hot takes, and that's going to be more of a segment for where you guys like, hot fire predictions that you think could come true in the season to come. But let's get on to our next guest here, RustaBusta. A lot of talking going on around this league about how crazy his offense is. Like I said, in my game personally, I'll kind of segue his intro into this. I got a good play with Okereke out in the flats. He absolutely manhandled. I think it was Mixon that he was thrown to, but he came over the top of him, picked it off. and ran it back for a touchdown. That set Rusta off, and he proceeded to beat me down. Again, Malik Willis is Malik Willis, but Rusta's offense is legit. He needs no introduction. Everybody knows him in this league. He talks every single day in the chat. Welcome, Rusta. How you doing, brother?
What's up, fellas? By the way, I want to tell you I've been listening. I think you guys are doing a phenomenal job. I really appreciate the content, your guys' time. I think it's great for the league. I appreciate you guys having me as a guest.
Well, we appreciate you coming on the show, and let me get into your graphic there as we see Joe Burrow flash across the screen. I want to run down the Cincinnati Bengals and just kind of talk about what you're doing.
You mean the LSU Bengals?
Yeah, GEAUX Bengals, as Rusta likes to say. Currently, offense is smoking hot, 40 points a game. Can't believe that's second in the league right now. Also second in yards with 1,738. Passing yards, first in the league, definitely earned 1,452. Rushing has something left to desire, but when you are passing the ball like you are, who cares? So 286 yards there, 25th ranking. Defense, that's kind of where I'm going to start with you, Russ. Defense is kind of lacking this year. You find yourselves in a lot of shootouts. Points, you're allowing 33, which is 26th in the league. Yards, 1,616, that's 27th. Passing yards, 1,033, that's 20th. And you are the second worst rushing defense in the league at 583. I don't mean that as a diss on you. I want to get your take on what's going on with your defense. You've obviously found success with your offense. What do you need to do to turn around with your defense? You have a lot of playmakers there.
Yeah, that's a great – the Falcons had my entire secondary on skates. Actually, my whole front seven. Like, I couldn't – Stud had an option touchdown from, the 20-yard line. Like a sweet pitch to the running back to the outside, and he took it to the pylon. And I'm like, I haven't had an option right on me. And legit, in years, I feel like, so I don't know. I don't know what's going on in the defense. I definitely put a lot of focus and concentration on building this team offensively. I started that last season's off season prior to the draft, so in free agency. So I just followed suit, and I just picked up a bunch of receivers because I knew I wasn't going to retain everyone. And the last thing that I wanted is to have Burrow out here without targets. So I was like, you know what? The defense, I've got vet safeties. I've got Von Bell at strong safety. I've got Jesse Bates at free safety. I've my linebackers. I don't necessarily see a bunch of holes, quite frankly. My defensive line is less than desirable, I guess you could say, but the ends are solid. I just haven't been able to stop a nosebleed, and I've just been out shooting people, and the only team I couldn't do that with was the Falcons. Which
by the way, that final score was 49-63, so over 100 points scored in that game. Absolutely phenomenal offensive showing by not only you but also Stud, who we were just talking to. He's shocking the league at an undefeated 4-0. Okay, so I'm gonna open it up for some questions from Kold and Hawk, and we'll see where the night takes us.
Hey, Rusta, how you doing, brother?
What's up, brother? How you doing?
Man, I just want to tell you, first of all, it's just been a real pleasure watching you turn into a top-level player. Coming from, you're one of the guys that came over with us, and coming from in the past when you were an easy win on the schedule. No offense, but you were always a great guy, but you were not the best player. To now, I can't even figure out how to beat you. So I just want to first start off by saying props, man. I'm really proud to see you turn out to be such a good player. And I know you said that it has had a lot to do with stress levels in your life coming down. So, man, I'm happy to hear that. I'm just glad to see you playing the way you are, man. So welcome to the show. Thanks for coming on, and congrats on the way you've been playing.
I appreciate that, man. Definitely. Yeah, I did. I mean, I've been playing with you guys it's interesting when Smash was talking about the strength of the league, and quite frankly, the strength of any league is the community. Obviously, the people that make it up, right? The core. I feel to be lucky, blessed to have you guys, quite frankly, and be a part of a community with you guys for a decade at least, I guess at this point, right? So we've really grown to know each other quite well. I saw something kind of cool, not something that you see every day. And I just literally mailed it off to Juke a couple days ago, and he'll get it this week. But it's just cool to have you guys as a part of a community, be a part of a community, still playing this game. The game's not perfect, obviously. We get that, we know that, but the community is really why we've always been in the league together. Through all of the products that they put out over the course of the last 10 to 15 years or whatever. So that's always a constant, right? The game's the variable, if you will. The constant is us, and the group that we have. And it sounds like the group that was already here is pretty solid. So personally, I'm really excited for the future of WFL, just with the core group leadership. In general, I feel like is in good hands. I'm happy to still be a part of this community. So that means a lot, essentially.
What's up, Rusta?
What up, Kold?
Nothing much, man. Just like Hawk, I really have no questions just because we've known each other for a minute. But I got to say, man, good job, bro. You built an amazing team, and you're just like, I wouldn't say you were ever an easy win for me. We used to be competitive, but now I'm like, yeah, I hope we don't meet each other anytime soon, bro.
You asked if we were going to play because I said we play this year on the schedule. You're like, do we? Question mark.
That's different, bro. Discord is different than real life.
You saying that, even though you chatted it, I can hear you saying that.
Yeah. And I was just coming off a win. Can you believe that? Hawk and Juke on 2 nights.
The schedule right now, Kold.
Look it up. Tell me when we play.
I'm looking at it right now, boys, and let's see.
I had a tough.
You don't.
Well, while you guys are figuring that out, I just want to say, I know it was a big surprise when you took Jalen Hyatt in the first round last year of the draft. He was, your number 4 receiver, and a stud in the first round, and you're showing us all why you did that. Now your plan's coming to fruition, and he's really helping you out this season now as your number 3 option, and out there with Jamar Chase and Tyler Boyd. So way to think ahead, way to plan ahead, like you were talking about, and building this offense, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. What I've realized is Hyatt frees up Chase, and he frees up Boyd, he frees up Ingram. He draws attention. Like Hyatt's going to command some attention out there because he's going to catch the ball, and he's quick. So I was looking at my stats or whatnot. Like all my receivers are. I don't favor one this year. Last year, Boyd had a lot of targets, a lot of receptions because he's just like a fly trap out there running around. But like this year, I'm finding the open spot. I'm not necessarily trying to go for one person, but I've noticed that Chase has got a lot more opportunity this year because of Hyatt being right there in the slot.
Great job building this team, man. I don't know if you're the top overall team, but it shows you're 89 overall. That's got to be up there towards the top, if it's not the top.
Right. Yeah, defense is not there. So my plan is, it's the one game that I didn't have this plan going into it, and that was against Atlanta. But my plan since then is I'm gonna sling it. You
got the squad to do it. Why not?
Yeah, like why build a team like this if you're not going to do that? And I'm still, and quite frankly, I've tried to fortify my offensive line in the offseason too. Picking up that tackle was huge, right? So I mean, I've got a balanced attack essentially. So if you think I'm just going to come in and I might just play, I can run too. I've still got Mixon and Daly
right.
that up. I'm really excited about him. I'm not sure if it's going to be the carryover or not, quite frankly, but I'm excited about him. He's like a little bottle rocket coming out. He's quicker than most people think. He'll kind of scoot through there, and before you know it, he's in the open field. So I'm enjoying his potential. I've got a balanced running attack with Mixon and Daly. So if people think that, if they get too comfortable playing for the pass, I'll just shoot it up the middle, right up the gut, to the side, or whatever.
Hey, don't I know it, man? Don't I know it, dude? You gashed me like 3 or 4 times in the third and fourth quarter when I came out in the dime, and sometime a quarter. Sometimes you got to run a quarter against this dude. He does have the overall team, or the highest overall team at 89. Cowboys, I know you're listening. You're at 88. And then Chiefs 86, Lions 86, Miami 85, and Cleveland Browns 85. So that's your top 5 there. Russ, it's been a pleasure, dude. You got any questions for us? You need anything?
I appreciate you guys having me on. I appreciate you guys, setting everything up. I think things like this really propel our league, right? And for ourselves, right? Because at the end of the day, we all spend time, being a part of this community. So setting things like this up, taking apart your personal time to do things and add content to the league, I think it's a really cool addition. Just like always, I appreciate you guys having me as a guest.
We appreciate you. My group has been rocking together for 9 years. I was actually looking at that. We started in PX1 9 years ago, and here we are.
Don't speak those bad words.
It don't matter where we came from. It's that we're here now.
Started at the bottom, now we're here.
Yeah. So, anyway, appreciate you, Rusta. Thanks for coming on the show, and we're gonna move on here. But please continue to listen, and good luck on the rest of your season, brother.
Yeah, good luck, man. And I'll just say, too, that I just looked. I don't see you playing the Bills on the schedule. And I'm going to also say I'm very thankful that I don't see I have to play you this year either. So if I see you, it'll be in the playoffs, and we'll take it from there.
Wow. Lucky.
Good luck, brother.
Lucky, ducky, you guys. You didn't have to get slaughtered like I did. 34-20 was the final on that. Anyway, moving on.
Which was actually, you held him to his fewest points of the year, so feel good about something. Silver linings.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, we're going to move on to hot takes. This is a segment where we're going to kind of talk about, we're going to make some bold predictions. We're going to talk about, it could be a player that you think is going to bust out. It could be a team that you think is going to turn it around. It could be a team that you think is going to implode. And just before we get in this segment with my 2 co-hosts here, let's keep it classy. We love the crap talk. We love the trash talk, if you will. But let's not run anybody into the ground. I don't think I have to worry about it with the 2 of you, both very respectable. But I want to hear some hot takes, guys. We'll start with Kold.
Well, I mean, I don't know if it's that much of a hot take, but earlier when Hawk was talking about the player of the week, which great job, by the way, doing that research and finding stats that aren't showing up on Neon. But when I looked at the past 4 weeks, I mean, it's only showing the first 4 weeks. We're in week 5. But the last 3 straight weeks, the Lions have had a player of the week, whether it was on offense or defense, which I got to say is just incredibly impressive. So with what Polio's doing over there, I don't know if it's that much of a hot take, but I definitely think he's going to go very far, maybe win that division, but definitely in the playoffs. So he's like one of my favorites right now, besides obviously what Rusta is doing on the offensive side of the ball. But Lions are just impressive, and I think they're flying a little bit under the radar and not getting as much shine as they should.
Let's take a look at the Lions here and just kind of see 35 points is good for 5th on offense, 1,415 yards, good for 14th there. Passing yards just sitting outside the top 10 at 12th at 998, and they are sitting outside the top 10 in rushing yards, 11th with 417. Defense is not allowing a lot of points, 19 points, that's good for 7th. 1,458 yards, that's good for 18th. Passing yards, he's 24th at 1,101. rushing yards 357, which is good for the 14th best rushing defense. Smash talked about it. He did go out and add a lot of talent. You can see it here in his most expensive players. He has Amari Cooper. He added Tyrann Mathieu. He traded for Kenny Moore. Mike Hilton was brought in. Deshaun Elliott, and just to name a few there, Taylor Decker anchors that offensive line. So, really good team building here by Polio. We'll see what that brings him. He did get that. He did get upset. No, he did get the upset over the Giants. They were the second seed in last year's playoffs, and then ultimately met his demise, as Smash alluded to, in the divisional round.
Yeah, surprisingly, like you said, he's just ranked in the middle of the pack almost across the board. But yeah, I mean, he's had some standout performances by different players almost each week for the past 4 weeks. So I'm looking forward to see what he does in week 5.
Hawk, anything to add on that hot take?
Yeah, I think it's sizzling. I got nothing but an agreement for it. So. Okay,
what's your hot take?
Well, I'm gonna say that you're definitely gonna turn around the 1-3 start and battle for the playoffs, from here. But other than that, I'm gonna get out of our own division because I don't want to give any bulletin board material to anybody. And I don't know. The NFC is just wide open. There's just, of the 4-0 teams, only one of them is in the AFC. The rest of them are all in the NFC. So, I'm gonna say, of those, it's just hard to say who's gonna pull it out. But you got Remster with the 49ers. It's a great squad. He's got the roster that the other guys don't have. The Lions have built a good squad. The Falcons have built a good squad. But as far as overall talent goes, the 49ers I think have the better roster. So I don't know. My hot take is, I'm going to say one of us finishes above 500 for the year. He's always down on himself, so I want to give him a little bit of props here. I want to say, I think the Broncos are going to finish above 500. I don't know if they'll make the playoffs, but I think they'll finish above 500. So that's my hot take.
That was a good one.
Currently sitting 10th in the playoff race, on the bubble. He is, thoughts are with him. I know he's a little bit down on himself right now. He's struggling to find offense, and I think that you're right. I think he will pick it up. I have faith in him as a leader. He's great for this league, and he has, like I was telling him tonight. We were talking in DMs, and he made that comment to me. He's like other guys are putting up 40. I'm putting up 10. I said, dude, you haven't even had a full season with this team yet. So it's just.
Well, let me flip that around for my hot take too.
Yeah.
Stud's putting up 60 on one of our top players, and he held Stud to 16. Yeah, he scored 10, but Stud only scored 16 on him after dropping 60 some on the Bengals. So it's all about how you look at things. He only scored 10, but he still only lost by 6. So to a guy that's 4-0. So I think he's doing better than he thinks. I understand that it's easy to get down on yourself, especially when your offense isn't rolling. That's the most fun part of the game to play. But he's got his defense going. So,
all right, I am my hot take. Let's see. I think Atlanta's gonna be the number 1 seed in the NFC. I think that Stud has had enough. His team is not necessarily the highest rated. But I think Stud is tired of losing. I think that he will be the number 1 team in the NFC. Little known fact, a lot of people, he's been very quiet in the WFL, but in our league, where we came from, this dude has 5 trophies next to his name. He knows how to win. Do not sleep on him. He will come after you. And he obviously came after Rusta. Rusta knows that. So he's finally figuring out Atlanta, and if he is the top team in the NFC coming into these playoffs coming up, I will not be surprised at all. Okay, so those are some hot takes. Looking ahead, we have the game of the week. I think has already been played. Do we have a score on this Cowboys Steelers game? Does anybody know?
Let me look. See if it's posted yet.
I'm hopping on the app to see too.
If you update Neon, it'll post in the Discord, and I can see it, but I don't see it there yet.
Okay, let me see if I can run that real quick. So let's just take a look here.
I turned my game off, so I can't look at the system.
I can see it. It was 38-31, Cowboys over Steelers. We also have a scoring update. Saints. He is listening live right now. He beats Rimster and improves to, so 49ers top seed there, no longer undefeated. They lost 14-35 to the now and still undefeated Saints 5-0.
Oh wow!
Wow!
Yeah, so what a turn of events that is, and good on Hatchie
coming in strong.
Yeah, absolutely. So good on you, man. We hope that luck continues for you. The NFC is the Wild West.
You put up a 21-point win on Rimster. I don't think it's luck. I think that's just skill. That dude is playing some ball.
Yep, absolutely. So, looking ahead, I'm gonna go ahead and fire up the schedule here for the rest of the week, and maybe identify some games that are also runner-up game of the week. You have Falcons versus Lions, both teams undefeated.
You got Giants versus Texans.
Yep, Giants.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that'll be a good one. Let's see.
I mean, the biggest one is obviously Atlanta and Detroit.
Broncos are playing Chiefs. Both teams are 2-2. That's for the lead of that division. So what we were just talking about, Winovus could go from being 10th in the playoff race to being 4th. With taking over his division. Colts and Packers, nobody cares. Bills are playing the 1-3 Cardinals. That's computer team. Good luck. And then that's pretty much rounds it out. Pretty much all the rest of these are computer games. So good looking out. I've really enjoyed what we've done here tonight, guys. Do you guys have anything else you want to talk about tonight?
No, I just think it's been an enjoyable time. I think the guys that came in, thanks for coming in. I think that's something that we could do more of. Getting more of the community involved, getting to know guys, getting to hear from guys. It's one thing to chat with somebody and in text. It's a whole nother thing to hear somebody and to talk to them in person. So, guys, if you're listening, don't be afraid. Don't be Don't be timid. Don't worry about it. Come on, have some fun with us. We're just some guys talking about a video game. So come out, talk to us. Let the league get to know you. Let us get to know you. Let's keep building what we got. I'm having fun. I'm glad we're here. I like what the leadership team's doing. I'm glad to see the things that are constantly being looked at and improved. I just think we got a good league. I'm just happy for going forward, and I really hope that despite the trash that the game is, that Madden 24 will keep us going in the right direction.
Cold.
We couldn't agree more. This was awesome, and I definitely do appreciate it. I mean, I love doing this with Hawk and Juke, but just to echo what he said, definitely appreciate the guys showing up. It makes it way more fun, and this is awesome.
So I've been kicking around some ideas, guys. So Neon, as Neon gets better and more awesome, one of the things that's overlooked in it that could actually be fun, and it might take a lot of work when we first start it, but we could actually run a fantasy league within our Madden league here, which would be kind of cool. If we wanted to, and I'm just kicking the can around a little bit. And,
right now, though, the points are jacked if you look at them, so they got to get it fixed before we can do that. That would be fun, though.
Yeah. So, the guy that runs Neon, it's just one dude, which is insane, right? But
he does a great job.
He does a fantastic job. He completely wipes the floor with what was Daddy Leagues. And then there's another one out there called My Madden, and his product is way superior to either one of those. But if you guys where I was going with that is if you guys have ideas of how to make this place more immersive, how to, I have pipe dreams of starting, when the NCAA rolls around, starting a feeder league from college into the pros, and like I just want to build this place. So, obviously I do my part with our graphics and our media and how we conduct ourselves from a media standpoint as a league, and I love that. But I really want everybody to get involved. I love the news articles that I continue to see every week. I see a different one pretty much, every day, or every other day, or so on and so forth. So make sure you're reading the articles that are in the league, and that's really where I'm just going to leave this. This has been a great pilot episode to WFL season, and on WFL Network, and for Too Cold and Hawk, I'm Juke. It's been a pleasure talking to you guys tonight, and we're out. We'll try to make this a regular thing, and we look forward to seeing you guys on the flip. Have a good one.
Peace.
Thank you for listening to the WFL Season Podcast. Subscribe to this channel and check out our Neon Sports and Discord for all things WFL related. Tune in next week for more WFL action and reaction. Winners focus on winning. Losers focus on winning.
This legacy, you gon' see what's left of me. You gon' see success in me. You ain't seen the rest of me. I just wanna be the best at what I know. Better than the rest, just watch me grow. Put me to the test and watch me go. This is my quest, I'ma make it known. They call me